So it's taken me a while to really come to a common consensus on what really I personally think is the best series in Weekly Shonen Jump magazine as of right now, and with story arcs like Wano in One Piece and the Spade Kingdom raid arc in Black Clover, and even the Divine Visionary Selection Exam arc in Mashle, I think that with the wide variety that the magazine has as of right now, and with Jujutsu Kaisen on its indefinite hiatus, I think it's only fair to say that My Hero Academia is probably not my favorite ongoing series, but when I look at what My Hero Academia is currently doing with its manga and what direction Kohei Horikoshi is deciding to go in, My Hero Academia is without a doubt the best series in Weekly Shonen Jump as of this current moment. Of course, all this dilates to my own opinion, but I just can't stress it enough that when I take the time to dive deeper into the realm of what Horikoshi Sensei is doing to both the world and characters of MHA, it just seems that it's absolutely something that was needed when it comes to such a series like My Hero Academia. And it just so happens that with each and every chapter that comes out as of late, it's almost as if it can be directed as something a lot more stressful and meaningful from just your typical shonen manga. There are a ton of tropes and messages behind what it means to be a hero in a society where people are rethinking to themselves if what it means to be a hero is something that truly resonates within their character. The sense of realism is once again being demonstrated as something that only so happens to be looked at as of late, at least for me that is. And if you were to ask me what type of series this was from when the manga first came out to now, my answers would be completely different, as I hope yours would. Of course, as for myself personally, I'm not too much of a comic reader. In fact, I hardly have any comics under my belt. The only knowledge I generally have with superheroes are from the movies and TV shows that come out. But when I take a step back and look at My Hero Academia from beginning to the current moment, it feels as if we're just slowly making our ways from a Marvel-centric type tone of series to a dark and delighted DC comic, to where, as I'm told, things just feel a lot more real and the stakes feel a lot more important for those characters in their specific series in DC Comics. But before we get into the video any further, if you are new to the channel and or if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you hit that sub button and turn on the bell notifications, that way you never miss out on another new video. And as of right now, that's just kind of the vibe I catch from My Hero Academia and how I see it as of right now. And just from the previous few chapters alone, and for the build up since the second act, I think that we are heading into, if not already in, the dark turn in My Hero Academia. So when it comes down to it, I think that from my understanding, to make sure nobody is confused on the topic, on the title of the video, I presume it'd probably best to make something worth understanding. The dark turn in My Hero Academia mainly refers to the essential tone of the series. Like I said earlier, when I talk about a new series like My Hero Academia from the beginning, things that we're so happy to talk about now seem like it'd almost be impossible to portray within a series like MHA at the start, especially in a shonen magazine. However, I think that My Hero isn't just a series that makes this eccentric twist all of a sudden. This has been something that Kohei Horikoshi has been building up for quite a while now and has been hinting at ever since the second act of the series. It just so happens that within this build-up and within the final moments of the Paranormal Liberation War arc, that a light was shed on the darkness of this series. And it's kind of ironic in a sense, but looking back and really trying to understand the path that Kohei Horikoshi has been trying to make is slowly starting to make sense. And personally for me, it was something that I really had to take the time to notice and click to realize ever since the start of this recent arc. And of course, with Horikoshi's range of different capable art styles and different references to the many wide variety of comics and movies out there, I think it was just a lot easier for other people to understand that's more so fascinated with the narrative he's trying to push, because they may or may not have already seen this in a series other than My Hero Academia previously. Now, moving on, let's talk more about the series itself, and more specifically, Izuku Midoriya. Within the story and throughout this arc alone, it's been very apparent that we've had a lot of alone time with Deku, and of course the appearances of other pro heroes and villains. And through a rough coming from the Paranormal Liberation War arc and an awakening with his other multiple quirks, we've seen the mental state and just a negative spiral of Deku, shout out Ronin, come to be this character that just doesn't seem like the one we've previously known. His character and actions are being reflected to us, the audience, in partly a way of just this unstoppable being. Just like All Might, it was almost impossible to really stop him once he started moving forward. And that's just kind of how most of us My Hero Academia fans see it with Deku now. The only problem is, this toll that is taking on Deku is at the moment just a bit much. And doing the problems and just the built up aggression Deku has dealing with right now is just slowly eating him away. And he definitely knows that what he's doing is taking account to himself and his mental state. The only problem is that he cares way too much about his friends and loved ones more than he does himself, an act some would say only a true hero bears. This also jumps back to the situation with Death Arm's retirement a couple chapters ago. Someone who genuinely isn't cut out to be a hero but is only a human pretending to be a hero. In this society, we start to see an outlook that I personally only started to notice since the the Meta Liberation War arc moving forward with MVA. Just that outlook of realism on the world of heroes, and that's what I simply love about this series, because Horikoshi's on par with some of the best, portraying the acts of heroism's upbringings as well as their downfalls in such a unique way. As for Deku, and I've talked about this in a few of my previous My Hero Academia videos, but with this recent chapter as well as this upcoming chapter, chapter 319, I think we're going to start to see a lot of reverse parallels when it comes to Izuku and Class 1A, but mainly Bakugo. And I'm not exactly sure when this video will come out, maybe sometime before the official release of the newest chapter, so if you want to skip ahead, feel free to, or check out the unofficial scans. It honestly just doesn't matter to me. Whatever you do is what you want to do. But from what we know, I can definitely see Horikoshi implementing this, like I said, a reverse parallel kind of. I see it a bunch of times in a variety of manga, and just depending on the execution, it could be one of the best things to impact this manga. And what I really want to see is the madness of Deku's spiral out of control, and the thought of him needing to keep going in order to protect his friends, and the thought of his friends trying to get in the way only makes it all the more worse, at least for him. As for Class 1A, again, mainly Bakugo probably, we've seen him grow in so many different ways throughout the series, and I think we're going to see that growth present itself a lot more in this situation as we continue to move on, because his mission is to rescue Deku probably, and bring him back before anything spins out of control more than it already has. So I definitely see an opposite spin on these characters, where this time Bakugo is being a lot more optimistic and wanting to shine that true hero passion, and Deku is trying just to avoid everything this course of action because it really just doesn't matter to him in this current moment. If anything, it just endangers his friends and his whole well-being a lot more. So honestly, I can't really put a whole lot of my 2 senses on the future like I usually would. I think it's just gonna have to all revolve around this upcoming confrontation with, of course, Deku and Bakugo, and depending on the outcome, it could lead to a longitude of things, honestly, that could be discussed for hours on end. And I think from the narrative's outlook, it's just the start of this upbringing for Deku. So if I had to guess at the least, and obviously I could be wrong, but I definitely see Izuku getting out of this little bump in his path, I guess, and continuing onward until he furthermore just can't keep going without the help and reliance of his friends around him. But who knows, maybe that all comes down within these next few chapters or so. It's honestly just something that could go either way in my opinion. So for another look on it, My Hero Academia has been slowly transitioning into this duel of realism and darker tones for quite a while now, and it's been heavily expressed so far throughout this arc alone, and hopefully will continue to proceed that way until all the more is lost for the Hero Society and we meet our crashing point on the deciding action, and then make our way back to the Hero Society we once knew from the beginning of the series of My Hero Academia. So now with everything leading up to the future moments of My Hero Academia, it's definitely something I'm looking forward to, and I just genuinely can't wait to see what Horikoshi Sensei is going to take us with each and every chapter that comes out that progresses throughout this arc alone. And with all things considered, looking at things right now, the direction that My Hero Academia is going in is probably one to remember, and I wouldn't be surprised if we started to see more of this from other shonen series around it. But anyways, make sure before you click out the video to drop a comment on your thoughts on the video, and let me know your overall thoughts on how you think about this series of My Hero Academia overall. And if you want to stay updated, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and join the Discord if you have not already. We got the Discord up and running again, so join the Discord in the link in the description box down below. And with that, everyone, my Twitter is @AnimeAugie, and I'll make sure to catch each and every single one of you guys in the next video. Peace.